We'll start by selecting hosts and clusters. And we'll take a look at two clusters which we've pre-created, each with 3 hosts. One will end up being a hybrid vSAN cluster, and the other will be an all-flash vSAN cluster. We'll take a look here and see that vSAN is not enabled on either cluster. We'll also take a look at each of the VM kernel interfaces on each host in each cluster, and we'll see that we do not have any vSAN traffic enabled on these hosts. We will use VMK1 for vSAN traffic. However, we do not currently have vSAN traffic enabled on any of the hosts. Okay, so we just verified on the hybrid cluster. Now let's check the all-flash cluster and let's ensure that we have no vSAN traffic. Okay, there's the first host. Second host, again, no vSAN traffic. And the last host, only management and no vSAN. Also take a look and ensure that we don't have any disks assigned. Now let's launch command prompt and change directories to c:27/scripts. Then we'll call the vSAN deploy Python script, and we'll pass the cluster name as well as our VM kernel interface that we want to use for vSAN traffic. First and foremost, we enable vSAN traffic on each of the VM kernel interfaces in the cluster. We see that in the hybrid cluster, vSAN has been enabled at the cluster level. Now we need to claim disks and add them to disk groups on each of the hosts. If we look at disk management, we'll see the disk groups being created. Let's go back and look and verify that we have vSAN traffic enabled on our VM kernel interface. Here's the first host, the second host, and the third. And then finally, we'll enable the performance service on this cluster. Let's perform the same on our all-flash cluster, but let's denote that we're using all-flash by typing in all-flash as a parameter, and let's correct our cluster name. And execute the script. Again, we'll tag each of the VMK1 interfaces with vSAN traffic. We'll see that vSAN has been enabled for the cluster. Now we see our disk groups being created. Again, a list of each of the disks that are being claimed. There are all of our disk groups, and let's ensure that our performance service has been enabled. Let's check our VM kernel interface tagging for vSAN traffic. And enabled on all of our hosts. And we've enabled vSAN on 2 clusters through the use of a script.